Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first segment of the Pillow Talk with Kaze. This is going to be the segment in which we just cuddle up and just have a little conversation about a specified topic that may come to from something that you all send to me, or something that I probably just think of, or something that I'm seeing out in the media. Depends. But today's segment is going to be about respect. Now, I know what we might be thinking about as respect is everybody respecting another person, but that's not what I'm here to talk about here tonight, or this morning, or wherever you may be. This is actually about you having self respect. Now, that actually comes into a plethora of venues of how that can actually be portrayed. Now, what I mean by that is self respect is how you allow others to treat you, how you treat yourself, and what you allow yourself to really deal with, actually. So, this is not going to be based upon, let's say, somebody is trying to downplay somebody or, calling somebody out. Now, that's not even kosher. That's not even respect whatsoever. We all know that. We know to treat other people the same way we would want to be treated. Everybody gets that. For example, here's how we're going to try to differentiate between what I'm meaning by somebody having self-respect versus respecting others and things like that. Now, let's say you have somebody that is quote unquote overweight, or obese or whatever it may be in terms of that category. That's always a very hot topic. But let's say somebody's coming up towards them and saying, "Oh, yeah, you're fat. No, this and that." That's just rude, and stating the obvious or whatever. That's pointless. And honestly, the person that's making that statement is probably going to look foolish themselves because it's like, yeah, duh, and your point. However, for an individual to always complain about being fat, telling themselves how they hate how they look, and just completely upset with themselves. But then, if you turn around and you don't do anything to actually offset that, that actually shows that you don't have self-respect for your own body. So you're complaining about yourself, but you're not doing anything to fix it. That's what we're actually talking about, having self-respect. If somebody is actually overweight, for example, and they're working towards it to try to, reduce that weight, great, and I applaud you. But if you don't even care about your weight and you're feeling fine and comfortable in yourself, then go with that. It is what it is. We are all our own individuals, and not everybody is supposed to look exactly the same. So, with that being said, get over it. For all people out there that wants to poke at others just for what the way they look or what they have on and things like that, get over it. If you tell me, "Oh my gosh, you're buying something from here," or "you look a certain way," guess what? When I come home, are you cuddled up in bed with me? Right now, we might be having a little pillow talk conversation, but on a real physical context scale, are you cuddled up with me? No. So if you're not, then your opinion doesn't matter, because I have what's known as self-respect, and I'm going to care about myself, and I will treat myself as such. This also then rolls over into relationships. Now, there's always this big talk about, "Oh, we don't want to, you can't change somebody else. You shouldn't try to change them." Okay, that's fine and dandy. So let me ask you this, though. Let's say you're in a relationship, he, she doesn't really matter to me. You're in a relationship and that person says, "Hey, yeah, I cheated on you." What do you do? Do you say, "I want you to stop. I don't want you to be with this other person"? What if they tell you that's what they want to do? if you tell them they can't, isn't that you technically changing them? Now, I'm not promoting anyone to be cheating on another person. I'm not. What I'm saying here is for us to have just an epiphany, an outside view when it comes to these topics here. What I'm saying here is if you're talking to somebody and you're in a relationship and they're telling you that this is something that they want to do, you have to make the decision in yourself as to whether or not you personally will feel comfortable with allowing them to be with another person. If you don't, and you say no, it is then their choice to see if they will feel comfortable in that setting. In that actual dialogue, if both people will respect each other enough to talk about it, then it gives each other the opportunity to demonstrate where their line of self-respect is. Now, I'm not saying, because there are definitely functional relationships in which people can have open and things like that. So I'm not saying that it can't work out. What I'm saying is it is per setting, you know. So if a person says, okay, go ahead, do it, and they're truly comfortable with it, fine, that's them. They feel comfortable in that. It doesn't bother them. So if we are on the outside looking in, guess what? Turn your head the other way and leave them be, because what they're doing is not affecting you. But if you are in this situation and somebody is out doing it, and you know deep down in your heart that you don't feel comfortable with it, and you don't say anything about it, or let's say this, let's say you did say something about it, and then they still go out and do it. If you stay with this person because of that, just for the fact that you're like, oh my gosh, I am just so infatuated, because at that point it's infatuation. You're so head over heels for this person, but quite frankly, they're not treating you the way you truly feel as though you should be treated. And if you stay with that person, that means you yourself are not demonstrating that you have your own self-respect. Respect yourself. Now, again, this is where we talk about whether or not, if you say something and people say, oh, you shouldn't want to change this person. If you really love them, you want to be with them forever. That's all fine and dandy. We don't try to change somebody. We let them know what bothers us, and they make that decision of how they're going to handle it. And we also then, in turn, make the decision of how we handle how they're going to handle it. Yes, there are compromises in play. And that's how it comes in terms of where our standards of self-respect come with. There's going to be definitely times of compromise. That's a given. But there are also those lines in that compromise when the person must identify where their level of self-respect is versus the other person's level of self-respect. Now, this can come into a plethora of mannerisms. For example, who's taking out the trash. It could be something as small as that, all the way up until the scale, for example, of somebody cheating on another person or being with somebody else. There are countless things that can come up. So I'm not saying necessarily to always have all these deal breakers and just put strains in relationships. That is crazy, But what I'm saying here is know yourself, guys. Know yourself, know your where you stand on things. Make those things clear, because you have to be able to say, I respect myself. And if somebody doesn't respect you enough, well then guess what? Somebody else will. Someone else will. Simply put, we can't be afraid to just be by ourselves for a little bit. The right person is going to come around. But if you don't respect yourself, that person that may be right for you may not even be able to see you because you're so down on yourself the entire time. Love yourself, respect yourself, and I think everybody will be happy. Me, myself, for example, y'all may be surprised with me doing videos and things like that, but I am completely introverted. I can go days without talking to people and I will be fine. I can care less. I'm just a very to myself type person. But when I speak about something, best believe it's probably going to be important if I'm actually take the time out to have a conversation about something. Now, I know if I'm going to communicate with somebody, and it's the rare moments when I do actually make an effort to make some form of a communication. If somebody else is going to return my communication with either a whatever or a or actually don't even acknowledge what I say, you know what I'm going to do? I'll stop talking. I'm going to have enough self-respect for myself and say, okay, you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to respect me in my feelings about this. Then I will say absolutely nothing any further. I won't bring up the topic any further. But trust me, I'm going to make sure it's not going to be a problem ever again. Because I'm going to have self-respect. And if you're going to think that you can treat me bad, you got another thing coming, because the Kaze here don't work that way. So this is what I'm saying, guys. Respect is one thing when we have respect for another, but self-respect is where it really lies. You have to determine whether or not you have enough self-respect for what you're actually facing in life. That's what I think. Tell me what you all think. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of Pillow Talk. Hope you all enjoyed it. Be sure to leave some comments below on what you think about self-respect. What do you think about the phrase respecting others in relationships and things like that? Tell me what you all think. Maybe we can, talk more about it, and we'll take it from there. Also, leave some comments below of what you might want to talk about for the next Pillow Talk session. And maybe we can have some more dialogue and have some fun with that. Until next time, guys, get yourselves some rest. Treat your bodies right. Treat your mental health right. Respect yourself. Love yourself. And when you do, everything else falls into place. You all have a great night.